Mira lived in a small quiet village where days moved slowly and people knew each other well. Her house stood near the edge of a wide open field that had been empty for many years. The field had dry grass, a few scattered trees, and one old mango tree near the back of her yard. Mira enjoyed working outside. Cleaning the yard gave her peace and helped her forget the worries of daily life. One afternoon, while clearing weeds near the mango tree, she noticed a small pile of fresh dirt pushed up through the soil. At first, she did not think much of it. Ants often made nests in the field, and small dirt mounds were common. Still, this one felt different. The shape of the mound was round and taller than most. The dirt looked fresh and clean, not mixed with stones or roots the way normal nests were. Mira bent down and watched it carefully. Ants moved in long straight lines, carrying tiny grains of soil away from the center. Their movement was fast and organized. Everything looked normal on the surface. Yet something inside Mira told her that this was not just an ordinary nest. She gently touched the top of the mound with her finger. The dirt sank lower than she expected. It felt soft, not firm like packed soil. As she pulled her hand back, she felt a strange cool air brush against her skin. It made her pause. Ant nests were usually warm from the heat trapped inside. This air felt cold, almost like it came from a shaded cave. Mira stood up slowly and looked around the silent field. Nothing else had changed. The trees did not move. The birds still sang. But her heart felt uneasy. That evening, as the sun lowered and the sky turned orange, Mira walked to her neighbor Arif's home. Arif was an older man with deep lines on his face and wise eyes. He had spent many years guiding travelers through hills and rivers when he was young. If anyone knew about strange land signs, it was him. Mira told him what she had seen and felt. At first, Arif chuckled softly and said ants were clever builders. But when Mira described the cold air, his smile slowly faded. Cold air from the ground is not normal, Arif said. Soil holds warmth. If cold air is coming out, there must be a deep open space below. He told Mira that they should look at it together in the morning when the light is strong. Mira agreed, though a soft fear stayed with her through the night. As she lay in bed, she kept thinking about the gentle cold breath that touched her hand. At sunrise, pale light spread across the field. The air was still and calm. Mira met Arif near the mango tree. The mound looked the same as before. Ants were still moving back and forth in steady lines. Arif crouched down slowly and used a thin stick to brush away the loose dirt. As he cleared the surface, a narrow dark opening appeared beneath the mound. It was not wide, but it was clearly deeper than any ant tunnel. Arif held his breath and leaned closer. A steady stream of cold air flowed from the opening. The ants scattered quickly and disappeared into tiny side paths. Arif stood up with a serious face. "This is not made by ants," he said quietly. "This is something old and deep." He picked up a small stone from the ground and showed it to Mira. He dropped it into the opening. They waited. 1 second passed. 2 seconds passed. No sound came from below. The silence felt heavy and strange. The stone should have hit something. But it did not. That meant the space below was very deep. Arif shook his head slowly. "This place hides something we do not understand," he said. Mira felt her chest grow tight. Her small yard suddenly felt like a door to something unknown. By midday, word spread through the village. People began to gather around the mango tree. Some were curious. Some looked afraid. Children were pulled back by their parents. Everyone took turns peeking at the dark opening. Some said it could be an old animal tunnel. Others guessed it might be a forgotten water path from long ago. But no one could explain the cold air or the silent depth. Mira stood close but said little. She watched faces change from jokes to worry. The field that once felt simple now felt strange. Arif told the villagers they should not touch the opening anymore. He said this must be examined by people who study the earth and understand such things. A message was sent to the nearby town where scientists worked. As evening came, village elders placed wooden poles and rope around the mango tree to keep people away. Oil lamps were placed around the area to light the ground. The ants slowly returned to the mound as if nothing had happened. But everyone knew something deep beneath had been awakened. That night, Mira could not sleep. The cold air, the deep silence, and the dark opening filled her thoughts. She kept wondering how long that space had been hidden under her land. Was it there before she was born? Was it older than the village itself? The field had always felt safe. Now it felt like a secret waiting to rise. Far away in the town, a group of Earth scientists received the village message. The strange signs caught their attention at once. Cold air, endless depth, and a hidden opening under an ant nest did not match natural patterns. They prepared ropes, lights, cameras, and tools to examine the place by morning. None of them yet knew that what waited beneath that tiny opening would soon change the way they understood the land beneath the village forever. That night passed slowly under a quiet sky. The mango tree stood still. The ants moved in quiet lines. And beneath the soil, something ancient waited in silence. The sun had barely risen when a long white vehicle stopped at the edge of the village. It carried the group of scientists from the town. People gathered at a distance as they stepped out, wearing simple work clothes and carrying bags filled with tools. The leader of the group was a calm woman named Nira. She had studied the earth for many years and had explored deep places beneath hills and fields. Beside her was a tall man named Sol who handled safety tools and ropes. 2 others followed them, each trained to study soil and stone. Mira stood near Arif as the scientists walked toward the mango tree. The field felt quiet again, as if holding its breath. Nira knelt beside the mound and studied the opening with care. She brushed the dirt gently and felt the cold air with her hand. Her eyes narrowed with focus. Cold air from this depth is strange, she said. This means the space below is not shallow. It may be wide and old. Sol brought out a small light attached to a thin wire. He slowly lowered it into the opening. Everyone leaned forward in silence. The wire went down and down. The light grew smaller as it traveled into the dark. After several long moments, the wire stopped moving. Sol checked the length. This is deeper than it should be for any natural animal tunnel. The space is large. Nira nodded and asked for the camera tool. They lowered a small camera next. The image appeared on a small screen. At first, it only showed darkness. Then faint shapes appeared. The camera moved lower. The walls were smooth, not rough like natural caves. The shape was round and straight. The villagers gasped softly. Mira felt her hands grow cold. This is not made by water or animals, Nira said. This tunnel was shaped with purpose. That means it was built. Built by who? Someone whispered. Nira did not answer yet. She stood and looked at the field around her. Then she turned to the villagers. We must open the surface wider if we want to understand what this is. But we must be careful. The ground above may not be strong. The elders agreed. A small area around the mound was cleared. Ropes were tied to nearby trees for safety. Sol and 1 other scientist began to remove dirt slowly using careful tools. The opening grew wider little by little. The ants moved away in silent lines, leaving the area. As the hole widened, more cold air flowed out. The scent was clean but ancient, like stone that had not seen light in a long time. When the opening became wide enough for a person to see inside clearly, everyone stepped closer once again. The tunnel went straight down. Its walls were lined with smooth stone, fitted so closely that no cracks could be seen between pieces. Mira covered her mouth in shock. She had lived on this land all her life and never imagined such a place existed beneath her feet. Sol tested the air with a small device. The air is safe to breathe, he said. That means this space has been open inside for a long time. Fresh air still moves through it. They prepared to send the camera deeper. This time they added stronger light. As it descended, The screen showed carved stone walls marked with strange patterns. Long lines curved around the walls in repeating shapes. Some markings looked like symbols. Others looked like images of plants and stars. The villagers murmured in wonder. "This is not natural," Arif said softly. "This is history hiding under our soil." The camera reached the bottom of the vertical shaft and showed a wide flat stone floor. Beyond it, there was an open path leading forward into darkness. The tunnel did not end. It continued. Nira looked at her team with quiet excitement. "We have found something very old," she said. "This is not just a tunnel. This is a hidden structure." The village elders asked what would happen next. Nira explained that they would need to enter carefully to map the space and learn who built it and why. She assured them safety would come first. By midday, Sol was the first to prepare for descent. He was tied securely with rope as the others held steady. A hard hat light was fixed on his head. Slowly, he lowered himself into the shaft. The villagers watched in silence as his light moved downward. Mira held her breath. After what felt like a long time, Sol's voice came through the rope line. "The floor is solid," he said. "The walls are smooth stone. This place is real." He stepped off the rope and walked forward a few steps. His light moved across the floor and walls. More symbols appeared. Some looked like waves. Some looked like circles in the sky. Others showed shapes that looked like buildings or towers. Sol took many pictures and sent them up through the camera line. When he returned to the surface, his face was filled with wonder. This is not a simple tunnel. It leads into a wide chamber beyond. The space is large and clean. Nothing has fallen in for a long time. Nira took a deep breath. "Tomorrow, we will go deeper," she said. "Today, we prepare." The news spread faster than wind through the nearby towns. By evening, more people had arrived at the village edge. Some came out of curiosity. Others came with cameras and notebooks. The quiet field near Myra's house had become the center of great interest. That night, bright lights were placed around the mango tree. The scientists stayed near their tools. Mira sat on a wooden bench near her home, watching the field glow in soft white light. She felt both fear and wonder. Her simple life had changed in a single day. Arif sat beside her. "You are brave," he said gently. "The land chooses its messenger. Today it chose you." Mira did not feel brave. She felt small beneath the great secret beneath her yard. Early the next morning, two scientists prepared to enter together. Nira would lead this time. Sol would guide her from behind. The ropes were secured again. The villagers watched with silent hope and fear as the leaders of the team descended. As Nira reached the stone floor, she moved slowly forward. Her light revealed the full chamber. It was larger than expected. The ceiling was high and curved. The walls were covered in carved stone panels. Each panel showed scenes. Some showed people working together. Some showed large fields. Some showed stars arranged in patterns that did not match the sky seen today. Nira touched the stone with gentle hands. "These carvings tell a story," she said softly through the line. "A story of people who lived here long before the village existed." She walked forward toward the open path ahead. The tunnel widened as it moved deeper into the earth. The air remained cool and clean. The floor was smooth as if shaped carefully by human hands. Suddenly, her light caught something that made her stop. At the side of the chamber stood tall stone pillars. Between them was a sealed stone door. It was covered in the same carved symbols. But this door was different. It looked untouched. No cracks. No damage. As if it was meant to be closed until the right time. Sol felt the rope tighten. "What do you see?" he asked. "A door," Nira answered. "A real door. This place was built with purpose." Nira moved closer to the door but did not touch it. She took pictures from all angles. The space was silent except for her steady breath. Above ground, the villagers watched the small moving light through the camera screen. When the image of the door appeared, everyone gasped together. It felt like the earth itself had revealed a long-buried secret. Nira stepped back and gave clear instructions. "We stop here today. This door must not be opened without full study. We must understand the marks first. This place has waited for centuries. It can wait a little longer." When she returned to the surface, the villagers gathered close. She explained that the tunnel led to a sealed place filled with carvings and signs of an ancient human group that lived and worked together deep underground. It was protected by stone and time. Mira listened in silence. Her yard was no longer just land. It had become a gateway to a forgotten world. That night, Mira stood near the mango tree under the stars. Cold air still rose gently from the opening. She looked at the sky and then at the earth. Above her were stars. Below her was a story older than memory. And still, no one yet understood what truly waited behind the stone door beneath her home. Morning light spread across the village as if nothing strange had happened. Birds sang as they always did. Smoke rose from cooking fires. But everyone felt the same quiet tension in the air. The sealed stone door beneath Myra's yard had changed everything. News had already spread far beyond the nearby towns. People arrived from distant places carrying cameras, notebooks, and lighting tools. The village that once felt forgotten was now watched by the world. Nira and her team worked from early morning. Large tables were set near the mango tree, covered with printed images of the carvings from inside the chamber. The symbols were studied closely. Lines, stars, shapes of fields, and figures of people filled the pages. Some villagers gathered nearby, watching quietly. Mira stood among them, her eyes fixed on the images that came from below her own land. Nira pointed to one long pattern of stars carved on the wall near the door. "These stars do not match the sky we see today," she said. "This means the people who carved these were watching the sky thousands of years ago. The stars slowly move with time. This carving shows a sky from a very distant past." Arif listened carefully. He had spent his life hearing stories of lost places and hidden people, but seeing proof was different. "So this place is older than our village," he said. "Much older," Nira replied. Sol brought new tools that day. Small wheel devices designed to roll along stone floors and scan spaces beyond walls. They were placed near the opening and slowly lowered again into the tunnel. The chamber came into view once more. The sealed door stood quietly between two carved pillars. Its surface was smooth and cool, untouched by light for countless years. Nira guided the small scanning device toward the door. The screen above showed faint shadows beyond the stone. The wall was thick and strong. Then, slowly, the scan revealed empty space on the other side. Not just empty space, but something wide and structured. "There is a large chamber behind the door," Nira said softly, "and something is standing inside it." The villagers leaned forward in silence. Mira pressed her hands together in fear and wonder. Sol adjusted the scan light. The shape grew clearer. It was tall and wide. It did not look like stone walls or pillars. It looked shaped with care. "It looks like a structure," Sol said. "Maybe a tower or a monument." No one spoke for several seconds. The sealed door was not just guarding space. It was guarding something built to be seen. Nira looked back at the elders of the village. "We must open this door carefully," she said. "It was sealed with purpose. We must show it the same respect it was given when it was closed." Permission was given by the elders. The decision was not easy, but curiosity and responsibility guided them. Tools were prepared to open the door slowly without damaging the stone or the carvings. By afternoon, the team descended together. Nira and Sol stood before the door. The cold air around them felt calm and steady. They placed soft pressure tools along the edges of the stone. Carefully, slowly, they worked around the seal. The stone did not break. It moved, sliding gently within its frame as if made to open again one day. A narrow line of darkness appeared. Cold air flowed from inside in stronger waves. As the gap widened, light from Nira's helmet streamed into the hidden space beyond. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Sol's voice came through the rope line, steady but filled with wonder. This place is larger than the first chamber. Much larger. Nira stepped inside first. Her light moved across the floor. The chamber beyond was round and tall. The floor was smooth and clean. The walls curved upward into a high ceiling that faded into shadows. In the center of the chamber stood a tall stone structure shaped like a tower. Symbols covered its surface from top to bottom. Mira watched everything from above through the camera screen. Her breath felt tight in her chest. The land under her home held a secret city of stone. Nira walked slowly around the tower. The carvings here were deeper and more detailed than those in the first chamber. They showed people standing together in long lines. They showed hands passing tools, seeds, and light between one another. They showed fields under the open sky and the same star patterns from the earlier walls. "This is not a place of fear," Nira said quietly. "It is a place of memory." Sol touched the base of the tower. Small thin grooves surrounded it. "This structure may have once held light or water," he said. These channels were shaped to move something around it. As they explored the chamber, they found carved benches, stone tables, and flat spaces that looked like work areas. No weapons. No signs of conflict. Everything suggested care, building, sharing, and learning. Nira stopped near one wall covered in large connected carvings. "These show the people who lived here leaving the surface," she said. "Look at these shapes. They show rising water above ground. Floods." The villagers above listened in shock. Floods were part of old stories passed down through generations. Stories of water that once covered the land. "These people may have come underground to survive," Nira continued. "They built this place to protect knowledge, food, and each other while the world above changed." Mira felt tears fill her eyes. Her yard was not just soil and grass. It was the roof of a shelter built by people desperate to live. As the team moved deeper along the chamber walls, they found sealed stone boxes placed carefully along one side. Each box was carved with the same symbol that appeared on the tower. Nira carefully opened one using gentle tools. Inside lay thin stone slabs stacked neatly. Each was covered in shallow carved writing. The symbols were small and detailed. Not pictures now, but a true written language. "We have found records," Nira said with quiet emotion. "These are messages left for future people." The discovery brought silence above ground. Even the children stopped whispering. The ants near the opening moved quietly as if unaware that the world beneath them had changed. The team did not open more boxes that day. They took only images and scans. Nira wanted to protect everything exactly as it was until the language could begin to be understood. Above ground, Mira sat near the mango tree long after sunset. The stars shone overhead. She thought of the people who once watched these same stars before hiding beneath the earth. They had trusted the ground to protect their story. Late that night, as the village rested, Nira reviewed the images once more. She noticed something new hidden within the writing. Repeating patterns appeared between lines of carved symbols. One repeated shape appeared again and again. Sol leaned closer. "That mark looks like a warning sign," he said. Nira studied it carefully. "Or it could be a marker of time," she answered. "Or distance." The meaning was not yet clear. But something was certain. The people who built this place did not vanish without reason. They left clear signs, records, and sealed doors meant to be opened when the world above was ready to listen again. The secrets beneath Myra's yard were only beginning to speak. And the most important message was still waiting to be understood.